Hi, everyone. I want to walk through a sample informative speech outline from a former student. This informative speech is definitely similar to what I want you to create, and I want you to follow this as a model. Happens to be the Word document of this informative outline. You may surely use Google Docs as well. I also have a couple of things highlighted and a couple of things in obviously giant blue text with some arrows that I'll point out. So first of all, this is the heading at the very top. Put your name, you put your class, of course you're in speech, the type of speech you're giving, this happens to be informative, and then your topic for your informative speech goes next. This one of course happens to be on a dentist. The date your speech is due goes here. And remember, it depends on which group you're in. If you're in group A, you go first this time for this speech, B second, C third, and D gets to go fourth. Our topical order is what we're using for the organizational pattern for our informative speech. Remember, if there were 2 or 3 students in your class all giving their informative speech on a dentist, they all wouldn't organize it the same way, and that's what topical order is all about. Picking the main points in the order that you think they should flow for your audience. Your set time, why is this blank? This right here is blank because Amy doesn't know how long, right, her informative speech is going to last until she practices it. And of course, our rule is at least 3 times out loud, once with a partner at a minimum. And you fill in, remember, the practice form. And so the set time can just be handwritten right here in a pen or a pencil. And you have 30 seconds, remember, before or after your set practice time to make sure that you don't lose any points toward your grade. The purpose statement is something that just goes in the heading, and remember, you don't actually say this right here, the purpose statement. This is just that overview sentence that guides you as you're researching and then outlining your speech. We're giving, remember, a manuscript delivery for this speech, and so this entire outline in sentence form can be used for this first speech. And then our thesis statement, notice that it's in yellow here, and then here's some more yellow, and as I scroll down, you'll see it again. You want to type your thesis statement as part of your header, and then you want to copy it, and you want to paste it as the last thing in your introduction and the first thing in your conclusion. I'm just going to change it from present tense to past tense. So you actually begin speaking right here with your introduction. You don't actually say anything from the heading. The introduction, remember, needs to be in Roman numerals, then capital letters, and then if you really want to, you can make it into subpoints. You need to grab your audience's attention. You need to have that link statement that links your attention-grabbing statement, and this one happens to be a rhetorical question. What job allows you to do all of these 10 things? And then the link statement answers that question, and that's a great way to grab our attention for this first informative speech. And the link statement then links to your thesis statement. Today I'll provide information about the nature of work skills, schooling, earnings, and employment of a dentist. Remember, it's really important to make sure that each one of these you list in your thesis statement. Each one of these, nature of work skills, follows then in that order. So the first thing that Amy's going to talk about is the nature of work. First off, I'd like to provide you with the nature of work of a dentist. Looks like we need to add a period there. And including, remember, it's really okay. The audience is fine with it. They like numerical transitions, words or phrases. So they definitely can follow and know where you are. And so your Roman numerals, that general statement that kicks it off, and then your A, B, C's, and maybe 1s and 2s are going to, of course, give the details that describe that general Roman numeral. Second, I'll tell you about the skills, right? So there's Amy's second point about the skills. The third about the schooling, the education. Then she's going to talk about the money. That's a great way to bring it to a close. After your audience hears a couple of main points, they're thinking, all of this education, all this work, is it worth it? Right? And then she's going to end with the employment or the future employment outlook of a dentist, which is really interesting for your audience. Think about it. They're your classmates. They're also sophomores. It's really that last year of childhood, and now they really have to start thinking about what they want to do with their lives. And so that's a really fun thing to end this first informative speech with. Your conclusion, again, needs to start with a really obvious transition statement, like in closing, in conclusion. Don't feel like a dork saying it, because we love to hear it as audience members. We know that you're going to wrap it up. Then you want to take your thesis statement and change it to past tense. So now it's I have provided you with information about, and then list each one of your main points again. Audiences love the full circle, remember. They love for you to tell them what you're going to tell them in the introduction, then tell them in the body, and then tell them what you told them in the closing. Then she has a nice statement, tomorrow's dentists, yes, they can be you, right? You could be on the cutting edge of technology using lasers and computer-assisted diagnosis, making the practice of dentistry more challenging and rewarding. It's time to start planning for your career in dentistry. And so she really provides this urge to get off your seat and investigate more after listening to her speech, which is a great way to end an informative speech. That's perfectly fine. And then the very last part of your outlines is the references. Remember from your experience in the past with works cited was your MLA, but we've had a lot of feedback from our seniors who told us they want some practice using APA style before they have to, of course, use it for big assignments as seniors. Remember that the references is the same thing as works cited. And the references actually should be centered, so I'm going to move that over. We need to cite from our website, our book source. This is a page from a website, another page from a website, and another one. And then the article that Amy found on Gale, she lists it here last. Remember, it's alphabetical order, A, D, 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 and then E. Think of any other questions. We'll have time in class to work so much on gathering and putting together our research note cards that we've created either in Google Keep or in index card paper format to create our first big outline for our first big major speech.